What's going on, superhero fans, and welcome back to OneVerse. So guys, it looks like one of the biggest Avengers Doomsday leaks we've heard so far has just become even more interesting. A brand new report from trusted industry insider Daniel RPK may have completely changed the way we look at the movie's opening sequence. Over the past several months, we've heard countless rumors about Deadpool, Wolverine, Doctor Doom, the X-Men, and multiple universes colliding. But now, according to this latest update, several older leaks suddenly seem to fit together in a way that they never did before. Even more surprising, a statement made months ago by one of the film's actors, something many fans assumed was simply a mistake, might actually have been a massive spoiler hiding in plain sight. So today, we're going to break down everything in detail, explain why this new report is generating so much discussion, and look at how it could completely reshape the opening act of Avengers Doomsday. As always, remember that none of this has been officially confirmed by Marvel Studios. So until we hear something directly from Marvel, everything we're discussing should be treated as rumor and speculation rather than confirmed fact. Now, according to Daniel RPK's latest report, the opening sequence of Avengers Doomsday doesn't just feature Deadpool and Wolverine. It also reportedly includes Magneto from the Fox X-Men universe joining them during the movie's very first major multiversal mission. And that's not the only interesting claim. Daniel also recently stated that the blue screen production images showing Wolverine alongside Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, images that many people dismissed as AI-generated, are actually genuine production stills. For weeks, fans have been debating whether those pictures were fake, heavily edited, or completely fabricated. But Daniel maintains that they are authentic. If that's true, then several leaks that previously seemed disconnected may actually be describing different pieces of the same opening sequence.
If you've been following Doomsday rumors over the past few months, you'll probably remember some of the earliest plot leaks claiming that Deadpool and Wolverine would appear almost immediately in the film before crossing into Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe. Those reports suggested that they wouldn't just encounter Spider-Man himself, but several villains from his world as well. Some versions of the rumor even claimed that TVA-inspired technology and something resembling a time razor bomb would play an important role in threatening an entire timeline. Honestly, when those rumors first appeared, they sounded difficult to believe. The idea of Deadpool and Wolverine willingly participating in the destruction of an entire universe didn't really fit the personalities we've come to know. That's why many fans, including myself, became skeptical when later insiders suggested that there was a lot of misinformation surrounding the movie's opening act. At that point, it seemed possible that the entire story had simply been exaggerated. But Daniel RPK's latest update suddenly makes those earlier reports feel much more believable. What's even more surprising is that Daniel isn't claiming Deadpool and Wolverine are alone. According to his report, Magneto is also present during this opening mission, and he isn't just confronting Spider-Man. He's reportedly fighting multiple villains from Tobey Maguire's universe. Notice the wording here, villains, plural. That immediately opens the door for some incredibly exciting possibilities. Dr. Octopus feels like the most obvious candidate, and honestly, imagining Magneto going up against Doc Ock is enough to make any Marvel fan smile. Dr. Octopus relies almost entirely on 4 massive metal tentacles, which essentially makes him the perfect opponent for the Master of Magnetism. Magneto could theoretically dismantle those arms in seconds, and if Green Goblin also joins the battle, the scale of this opening sequence becomes even more insane. If these rumors prove true, Avengers Doomsday could begin with one of the biggest multiversal action sequences we've ever seen on screen, bringing together the Fox X-Men universe and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe almost immediately, instead of saving those surprises for later in the film.
One of the biggest reasons this report has gained so much attention is because it suddenly gives new meaning to an interview that most fans had almost forgotten. Several months ago, Sir Ian McKellen casually mentioned that Magneto would destroy New Jersey during the movie. At the time, many people assumed he had simply misspoken. Even the Russo brothers later suggested that he may have been mistaken and implied that nothing like that actually happened in the film. But now, if Daniel RPK's report is accurate, there may have been a lot more truth to Ian McKellen's statement than anyone realized. The important detail is that Magneto may not have been talking about the MCU's New Jersey at all. Instead, he could have been referring to New Jersey within Tobey Maguire's universe. If that's the case, then what originally sounded like a simple mistake may actually have been one of the movie's earliest accidental spoilers. Rather than correcting him, Marvel may simply have tried to redirect attention away from what he revealed. Of course, this also raises a much deeper question about the story itself. Even if this opening battle is real, does it actually make sense from a character perspective? Personally, this is where I still have a few doubts. Charles Xavier has always believed that protecting innocent lives comes before everything else. It's extremely difficult to imagine Professor X supporting the destruction of another universe simply to save his own. Marvel Comics have explored similar moral dilemmas before, and characters like Beast have struggled enormously with the idea of sacrificing one reality for another. But Magneto has always operated under a very different philosophy. Throughout decades of comic book history, Magneto has repeatedly shown that when the survival of his own people is at stake, he is willing to make choices that other heroes simply cannot. If eliminating another timeline becomes the only way to protect his own universe, that decision fits Magneto's established ideology far better than it ever would Charles Xavier's. So from a storytelling perspective, Magneto being involved actually makes this rumor feel much more believable.
This report also suggests something much bigger about the overall scale of Avengers Doomsday. For a long time, fans assumed the movie would mainly focus on Earth 616, Earth 838, and perhaps the Fox X-Men universe. But if the opening sequence truly takes place inside Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe, then Marvel clearly has much larger plans for the multiverse. Suddenly, rumors about additional universes, alternate Avengers teams, multiple Steve Rogers variants, and entirely different versions of familiar heroes start sounding a lot more realistic. Instead of simply connecting 2 or 3 realities, Doomsday may actually function as the bridge leading directly into the enormous multiversal conflict of Secret Wars. And if that's Marvel's plan, then this film isn't just another Avengers movie, it becomes the foundation for everything that follows. At the same time, there's an important storytelling challenge that Marvel will have to overcome. Once you introduce an infinite multiverse, audiences naturally begin asking which versions of these characters they're supposed to become emotionally invested in. Fortunately, Marvel has already answered that question once before. The Loki we followed throughout the Disney Plus series wasn't the same Loki who died at the hands of Thanos in Infinity War. He was a branched timeline variant. Yet audiences embraced him because the story gave us time to care about that version of the character. The lesson is actually pretty simple. Fans don't reject variants, they reject weak storytelling. As long as Marvel builds emotional investment and gives these alternate characters meaningful arcs, viewers will happily accept them. The real danger comes if too many variants are introduced without enough time to develop them, because then the emotional focus of the story could start to feel diluted.
Kevin Feige himself has previously admitted that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness could have pushed the multiverse concept much further than it ultimately did. Many fans felt the same way. There were countless universes teased, but relatively few explored in depth. Maybe Avengers Doomsday, and especially Secret Wars, are finally going to deliver the true multiversal spectacle that Marvel originally envisioned. If even half of these reports end up being accurate, we could be looking at one of the most ambitious crossover events ever attempted in live-action comic book history. So now the big question is for all of you. If Daniel RPK's latest report and Sir Ian McKellen's earlier comments are both pointing toward the same opening sequence, do you think this massive multiversal battle is actually real? And if Avengers Doomsday really begins with Deadpool, Wolverine, Magneto, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and several classic Spider-Man villains all sharing the same battlefield, would that be one of the greatest opening sequences Marvel has ever created? Be sure to share all your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And if you're enjoying our daily Marvel, DC, Spider-Man, and superhero coverage, then don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. So this is it, guys. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you all in our next episode.